And that was the first
Hi,
5 minutes.
Georgie. You like oats? No, I'm good.
Hey, it's me, Jimmy D, and welcome back to Knights of the Geek Table. I'm here with Soul, and John is back after
Suck in the gut, Cody. This is for the Knights.
after a long little
I
break.
miss Senpai so much, guys.
It's just better when there's three of us. Just being honest.
I mean, this one doesn't call me an asshole every
Pointing the
5
wrong
minutes.
direction, sir. You pointed off screen.
You, screen.
You pointed to the recommended video to watch next.
Yeah, fuck that guy. That guy owes me money.
But
Did you guys see it? Did either of you guys see
I
it?
did.
If you didn't, I hadn't seen it. So
I
I watched the original Tim Curry one.
yes.
but-
Oh,
I
man.
I've seen the Tim Curry one when I was little. My mom would watch
I'm
it.
actually-
My
It's
mom.
interesting to see reactions to that
Mhm,
because I mean, I didn't even see it when I was really young, but I was relatively young,
mhm.
like middle school. And
I saw it when I was 16.
okay, then I was actually about that age. Well, I'm a little younger than that. But I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the way my mind runs with stuff, but that terrified me. Like, as I'm older now, I can look back and
Yeah.
kind of Tim Curry. Although I gotta say, the second half with the adults, I still don't like. But the first half with the kids, like, I don't know. I just think my mind
you
takes
can
the
do-
extra
see,
step.
I was at the mentality when I was a kid, Saw terrified me.
I didn't watch any of that.
I have you know that I am prone to jump scares a lot, but when I was little, my mom would watch Tim Curry's It all the fucking time, and it literally gave me nightmares.
Oh, same. I mean, because it scared the shit out of me. It's just, I was thinking about it last night, too. It still gives me the heebie-jeebies when you think of it. Because, again, my mind takes the extra step.
Yeah.
Because even though... Which is funny because whenever I watch like Nostalgia Critic or any of the other like reviewers that I like to watch, they'll be like, "Oh, I don't see how this is scary. It's just funny." And I'm like, "I'm glad you could see it that way." What I've come to the conclusion is, especially since it's a killer clown, I think it's just you're either scared
Mhm.
or you just think it's hilarious. I don't think there's any in between.
There isn't.
No.
Um,
I'm sorry. You're either when he's on the balcony and it's just, "Hey, Georgie," you either think that's really funny or.
It's
okay.
just, for me, it's just my mind takes the jump because, like, the thing with it is that because it is this like extra dimensional
Being.
beast with like almost being that has like no limits. It's that kind of thing where there is nowhere that you are safe, except for leaving, I guess, Dairy Maine. But there's nothing that you can do.
Somebody say Maine.
Yeah, and then it even like you're trapped, and then when you're a kid, nobody believes you. And one of the things they say, and I don't know if they say it in the movies at all, but in the books, it's basically said that all of the adults are kind of under this trance almost from it.
Yes.
That they don't realize, that they don't notice that all of these kids are dying and that there's
Yes.
a problem.
So I went to see the new one opening night.
Yeah.
Because
He hates himself.
well, I was curious to see how they were rebooting it.
He also hates himself.
But yes, I do hate myself because I almost punched my mom in the face at one of the scares.
Didn't you put that on Discord?
Yes. So
That would have been great.
in all the trailers, the projector scene where he shows up in the picture, well, that part didn't get me. It was right after that part where like the projector is all fine and all, and they're all sitting there, and like calms down, then all of a sudden flash, and he's all of a sudden coming out the projector, and he's fucking the size of the garage, and he's crawling at you, and I jumped almost over the
Sorry.
seats
How did
in
they
front of me.
I'm curious. How did they stop it?
How did they stop it? They ran out the garage.
Oh.
Um,
See, that's the thing where you're just like, you grab the projector and you're like, yeet, and just toss it off the wall.
No, here's the thing. That's my favorite part because they show it in the trailer of my favorite part of when they're doing that projector scene and it keeps flashing and keeps doing like still images of him. There's the black kid that just runs over and just kicks it down. I'm like, that's some gangster, that's some hood crap of just like no one doing anything.
but
Like, come on.
I literally almost jumped over the seats, row of seats in front of me, and like I went full like attack mode. And my dad honestly said if we were watching that movie in 3D, that shit would have been horrifying. Um, but I knew instantly when that little boy uh lost his boat that I was in for some shit.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me.
No.
His name is Georgie.
First of all, John, I don't know if you saw, but someone posted online the spoilers of that scene.
Yes.
Oh my god! Like, okay, in the Tim Curry version, it wasn't scary. It was more kind
the Tim
of.
Curry version was a TV, so they had to cut it. The thing is, I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it, but I know about it.
I saw because someone posted it.
Yeah, I
online.
didn't know. Think about me sitting in the back of the theater.
Well, it's actually
when that
a
scene
direct
happened.
translation from the book. It's actually in the book. It's directly described that happens, but they didn't show it in the Tim Curry one.
Well, in
know,
the book,
but
he gets his arm
When I
pulled
saw
off.
it, I was like, okay, we're going here.
That's probably one reason why I really wouldn't watch. I don't know. My dad, especially, like for example, my dad. Just to give you reference, my dad tried to watch The Walking Dead, but he couldn't get through the first episode because there's the scene where Rick has to shoot the little girl zombie.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't like seeing kids hurt. And I kind of have inherited that. I don't like so seeing a little 10-year-old kid crawling on the ground with his arm ripped off, like that. It doesn't sit right with me. I'm just like I can't.
If you go watch that clip, you will not sleep at night. It is fucked up. It is horrifying. And that's within the first 5 minutes.
Rated R.
I didn't know it was rated R. No one told me this going in.
Like how it plays out. How does it end though? Like after he gets his arm, does he just like? Do you see him dragged into the sewer? Like how does it end? I have not seen it.
He gets his he is not pulled off in the movie. It is bitten off.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But
then like he's crawling.
He's
and then
crawling,
he just
trying to
kinda
get
comes out of the
away,
sewer.
screaming. He's screaming, trying to crawl away, and the fucking Pennywise's arm stretches out the sewer, grabs him, and pulls him into the sewer. It's horrifying. And that was the first 5 minutes.
You're like oats. No, I'm good.
Okay, the dude who played Pennywise. Oh my god.
I know his name. What is? Yeah. What's his name?
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill I thought it was Alexander Skarsgård. There we go.
No, it's Bill.
What else has he been in? I'm trying to think.
I don't know, but oh my god, did he play Pennywise? Like, he makes Tim Curry look like Ronald McDonald's cousin.
Well, Tim Curry was just always Tim Curry.
Tim Curry made Tim Curry look like Ronald McDonald's cousin.
But this movie is fucked up to beyond belief. But it's good. It's so good. That's the thing. It might be fucked up, but it's good.
So, I heard a theory, and I want to propose it to you guys.
Okay.
About it. My issue with Cody, are you still there?
Yep.
Okay, your video turned off. What was I saying? Oh, the issue is though, since I have not actually seen the movie, I'm going to have to describe what I'm talking about, and then you would have to probably like check me on what the specifics are because I haven't seen it.
Okay.
So, from my understanding, I guess one of the bullies or whatever in the movie gets like killed or thrown down a well.
Yes.
Okay, but he's not. You don't see him die though, right?
No.
So the theory is that, and I guess Pennywise, doesn't he get thrown down that same well or something along those lines?
Not that same well. But Pennywise falls down another well type thing.
Okay. And I actually want to ask you about that. But okay.
Yeah.
The theory is this. The bully didn't die when he fell down the well.
Movie.
He was only...
Yeah, movie logic.
Yeah, he's probably like he's crippled. Like he gets really injured, but he's not dead.
Yeah.
And the logic is, or the theory is, that for the next movie, if they make one, which they probably are, which would probably be the second part of the book, which is when they come back as adults.
Yeah.
That the reason that it is still alive after getting its ass kicked by the kids the first time is that he basically keeps that bully alive, completely crippled. He can't move or leave keeps the bully alive for 20 years down there and feeds off his fear to regain his strength the entire time.
Hmm.
And then the kid comes back as a crippled, messed up Ripley.
Well, not even. Like, he's stuck at the bottom of the well. Like
Yeah.
all of his legs are broken or something like that.
I mean, that makes
Huh?
sense.
I mean, I don't know. I just find that really creepy.
I love how this just turned into an It review.
Yes. Well, there you go. We found something to talk about. I didn't initially suggest it because I didn't think anybody saw it, but
No.
Oh well.
But when you were talking about the parents and thinking that it has them under a trance, in the movie he does. He has taken over the TV sets of everyone and has playing this one show over and over about the kids floating, and it's fun for them to float and all this stuff, and it's fucking it's fucked up.
Well, that's I don't know, but I haven't actually seen it in context. But that does seem a little much because
TV show is the season 3 finale of Flash played on reverse.
Well, the thing is, because even the parents are like don't notice that for whatever reason. All of the kids would notice and be like, "Hey, mom, dad, dumb shits, what is that?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
And so kind of force them out of it.
You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too.
Oh, but my other question was going to be, how exactly did they beat Pennywise in this? Because in the Tim Curry one, and I don't know if it was in the book, they use a slingshot with a silver thing.
Yeah, so they had a bolt gun that is used to shoot sheep in the head. To kill them.
So you put it up against them and then it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had one of those because the black kid works on his grandfather's farm, so they brought that with him, and they used it on they used it on Pennywise playing as Georgie. So you literally watched the brother shoot Georgie in the head with a cattle bolt.
Well, I don't know if you can actually projectile shoot those. I think you have to put them up against.
No, it was up against his head.
Oh, there you
and
go.
You watched him and Georgie fall back dead, and I'm like, oh my god. But
anyway.
Yeah.
That's our review of it, folks.
That's interesting because that's just a straight up like a bolt to the head. Because
yeah.
the reason that they used the original,
but that's not how they kill him. That's just how they get him to be back in his Pennywise form. Then because they have then overcome their fear of him, so then they are able just to kick his ass.
Do they actually physically assault him?
Yes, they beat up Pennywise. And then he falls down.
Just the image of a clown getting beat up is hilarious.
But I don't know if that makes sense, though.
No.
Like, okay, the problem is, one of the biggest things with it, the issue is, that supposedly he gets his power based on your fear of him.
Yes.
The issue with that is, for example, Georgie in that beginning scene wasn't afraid of him. He was a kid, he didn't understand. But he was still able to kill him.
Yes.
So it's whether or not you're afraid of him, he's still an extra-dimensional being who could probably still kill you.
So they didn't talk about him getting his power from the fear. What Pennywise says in the movie is that the fear makes the kids taste better.
Oh. Okay, so he's not feeding off of him. He just prefer that you're scared. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
One other. Okay, well, that makes a little bit more sense. But so then my other thing is again, I'm asking questions because I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah.
But this is actually probably better for this. Supposedly, obviously, we understand now in this movie what he means by float.
Yes.
But one of the things that I've seen people kind of criticize it for is that you don't really understand. You see, I guess, a bunch of people who are floating.
A whole ton of kids.
A whole bunch of kids. But they never, because they beat Pennywise, essentially.
Yes.
But never understand, are those kids all dead, or are they still alive?
See, that's the thing. We don't know if they're all dead bodies that were floating. All we know is that Bethany, she started floating because Pennywise put her under a trance by the death lights. because she wasn't afraid of him, because she had overcome her fears of her dad and all that stuff. Um, so
Oh no, I ain't going to that chick's problems. Come here, let me go beat up the cripple kid.
I think that obviously I have not seen the movie, but I
Yeah.
probably would have. Probably would have liked them to like, because if he's gone, even if he's not dead, because he's not dead.
No.
The second part, but even if he's gone, it would make sense for them to not be like that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is the big question is like, I think it would be very obvious to the kids that they didn't really beat him if they do that, and all those people are still floating, and all of the parents are still in the trance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they have no idea, like, because you should be able to bring down the parents and be like, here you go.
Yeah. And the fact that it's a giant Pennywise the Clown thing sitting under a bunch of bicycles and everything. But also, so the movie ends with it fades to black, then it pops up on the screen, and not the word it, and then it says chapter 1. And then after the credits roll, right before they finish and it fades to black, you hear Pennywise laugh.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it's because it's they only did the first part of the book.
Yes.
Because there's 2 parts. So the second part. Now the thing is, the first part, as weird as it's going to sound, the first part is easiest to get right because it's probably the most compelling. And it's actually, the thing is, they also had a. If you look at the original TV version of it,
Yeah.
the first part's the best part. What they really have to focus on now is not fucking up the second part.
That's my concern.
I gotta say, the second part of the first part of the original scared me. The second part just pissed me off because
It was stupid.
excuse me, because it was stupid. Like, you're adults now, you have a lot more resources at your fingertips and your ability to do certain things, but they don't do any of it. And it's like, come on, guys. Like, for example, in the original, they bring back the slingshot. Like, guys, buy a gun.
Yes.
What are you doing?
What also concerns me about the second part is the kids were so amazing acting wise in this. They did such a fantastic job that I want them to be in the second one.
Well, I would too. It's just you can't
I know.
grow them up, you know.
I know. Like they just did such a fantastic fucking job. That I don't want to say that even if they get well-known actors, I'd be comparing them to the kids. But
Well, that's what they need. They either need to get well-known actors who we know are good,
yeah,
or some unknowns that are fucking outstanding.
yeah,
Because because you get average actors and it's all fucked because the first was so good because you have such great actors. Even though I haven't seen it, I know the kid actors, and I know they're great. Because then it'll just become like your stereotypical like horror movie if the actors suck.
yeah.
So they're gonna need to be able to back that up. So hopefully they can. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't go to see horror movies in movie theater.
The only movies I'm trying to think. I've only went to one in the theaters, and that was because my friend was like, "Hey, let's go see it," and I was like, "Okay." Luckily, it wasn't that great though. Although there's some scary parts in it.
Like
it was. Do you remember Dark Skies?
Yes.
Yeah, that was it.
It wasn't that good.
There was a couple scenes in it that I was like, ooh. But then there were a couple scenes like when the dad walks out of the lawn and the like faucet of blood from his nose. I was like, oh my god.
There's really only a few. There's really only one scary movie series that I would go that I do sometimes go see, and that is the Conjuring series.
I've not seen it, but that's only because I've heard that it's very good.
Yeah.
Which means that I will like verbally support it whenever I can. But I guess I'll say it. I'm kind of a bitch when it comes to horror movies, and if I know it's going to be, I don't see it.
I am too. Like I sleep with. I'll just have to sleep with the TV on.
My exceptions are generally stuff where I'm like interested in it. For example, the Alien series is a horror franchise.
Yeah.
But I've always just been interested in the universe and the creature itself. Although I gotta say, the most recent Ridley Scott movies have not been good.
No, but that's why I went to see it. I'm really interested in Stephen King stuff. I love reading Stephen King books.
I don't know how I feel about Stephen. Like I don't know. He doesn't seem like he creates very good concepts, but I'm not always on board with his execution of them.
No, some things I do question. But like I
Oh,
enjoyed
also
his.
like, sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
He a couple years ago he did the novel about the high school English teacher who goes back in time to prevent JFK's assassination.
Oh, they made a show out of that with James
Yeah,
Franco. I didn't watch the first episode of it, but I didn't.
yeah. The TV show's pretty good too. But yeah, so like certain ones I really enjoyed and others are just trash. But there are questionable things and everything that Stephen King does, like It, for example.
Well, yeah, the sewer orgy.
Yeah, the sewer orgy.
Because like you literally have shit in that, and I actually recently watched a "What's the Difference" thing on
Yeah.
YouTube between the book, and I think they were comparing the Tim Curry.
Yeah, the Tim Curry one.
Yeah. Did you see that?
Yeah, I watched that.
Okay. Well, they put it in context, and I guess when they explained it that way, I was like, all right, I understand it a little bit more. I mean, I'm not on board, but I get it.
No.
I guess.
I mean, shit weasels.
And I have to say this: out of all the books I've read, especially from being the English major I was, I've read so much more fucked up shit than a sewer orgy.
Well, yeah, but it's just
But it's
just
weird.
weird. Like, why?
Yeah.
Come on, dude. Like, you could have had her like kiss them all on the cheek or something. Like,
I don't remember what video it was, but it was someone joking about the sewer orgy in the book, and they're like, well, a sewer circle jerk would have been just as good. But
it's just, I don't know. Stephen King, he just kind of he does amazing stuff, and then, well, to be fair, though, I've never read any of his books, so I actually can't even comment that. It's just the material or the movies that are made off of his books.
yes.
Some are good, some are awful, and I'm just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm getting It because I never read It because I was scared to fucking death because my brain always takes and makes it a movie as I'm reading a book.
But yeah,
And knowing Tim Curry one and all the nightmares it gave me, my mind's gonna automatically put it in that context. So, well, now Tim Curry's kind of washed out by this one because this one is better, scarier.
Tim Curry can never be washed out. He is Tim Curry.
Yes, but I'm talking when I'm gonna when I'm gonna be reading It. My brain is not going to see Tim Curry anymore.
Oh, mine will. Although I will say, there are some. The book is good because it does give you insight that you can never see in a visual medium.
Yeah.
For example, in the book, towards the end of the book, like the last couple sections of it, is actually from the perspective of It.
Yeah.
So you get to know a little bit more about it. Yeah. Sorry.
It is.
You use It and it works, and I'm like, wait.
It is probably one of the most confusing things. Like way back when, I could talk about It, Tim Curry, or the book, and just be fine. But now, in my English brain is like, where should I be using this? Because it's like, the title and It being It.
Well,
It's weird.
I will say though, it's just the problem with the reason I haven't gone into It as much as I have, say, Alien or Predator.
Yeah.
Is because I've never been a fan of what I consider like uber beings in horror movies, like trying to think, so like ghost movies or demon movies, like Paranormal Activity. I actually kind of liked some of the earlier Paranormal Activities.
Yeah, the first couple
not
weren't
a
bad.
whole lot, because I don't like horror movies or scary movies, or really any action movies where you can't fight the antagonist.
Yes.
In some way. And with a ghost, you can't fight the ghost. The ghost will just kill you. With It, it's so almost omnipresent, and the fact that the kids even beat it to begin with is because it's cocky as fuck. If it was really if it knew what it was, if it wanted to kill them all, it could have. It just didn't because it was cocky, and that's why it lost.
Yeah.
The first time and the second time actually, but it's just I don't like those kind of stuff. With an Alien, for example, it's still incredibly terrifying and intimidating, and will easily kill you, but you can still shoot it and win.
Yeah.
I didn't like the later Friday the 13th movies for the same reason. Is because they turned Jason into this giant, this immortal monster
Yeah.
that you just can't kill. Same with Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
It was just like I'm not interested in that. It's not
I
fun. It's not fair.
one thing about I had it and it went away. Oh, Stephen King. About what you were saying. He way back when I was probably in elementary school, he wrote a TV miniseries. It wasn't based off one of his books. He wrote the show. It was about a hospital, and
I've heard what you're talking about, but I have no idea what it's
yeah,
about.
like it was really good, and it freaked me the fuck out.
What was it about?
So the first episode is this dude running, right? And all of a sudden this prehistoric anteater, so he's running, he gets hit by a car, he's laying there on the side of the road, basically paralyzed. This giant fucking scary looking anteater comes up and starts licking the ants off his bloody body. And he gets taken to this hospital that's basically all ghost. And like each episode is a different ghost that he's trying to help and like go further into like explanations to this hospital. And it's really good. I have to go back and watch it. But as far as I remember, there's not like a one creature that's overpowerful in this hospital. It's more of it's because it's a TV show that he wrote. It wasn't based off something else. It's very kind of TV structured.
The things, if I could just, I'll list some of the stuff. Again, I haven't read any of his books, so I can only reference stuff that's turned into media.
Yeah.
I guess my favorite things from King are a movie called 1408.
Okay.
Which is fucking great if you haven't seen it. It's got Samuel L. Jackson in it and what's his name? Oh goodness, hold on. Huh?
Oh.
Let me pull up the real quick because I know him. You'll know him if I say it. I just can't think of his name. Cast. John Cusack.
Oh.
Yeah. It's got Samuel L. Jackson and John Cusack in it. John Cusack is actually the main character. Wow, I didn't know all these other people were in the movie. I don't remember seeing them. Anyway. Yeah, it's a really good movie. If I just give you a plot synopsis, well, I'll come back to it. The second one was actually it was another made-to-TV one because Stephen King happens to have that a lot for some reason.
Yeah, he does.
It is laughable because the CGI now is so awful.
Mm-hmm.
But if you ignore that and just stick to the concept, it's scary. And I'll summarize both because it seems like you haven't seen either of them. So I didn't name the second one. The second one's name I think was Langoliers. I think.
Langoliers?
Is
Something
that the
like
one with
that.
the plane?
Yes.
No, that's the one with the giant fucking spaghetti monsters that have teeth for.
Yeah, that's the one where they're on the
It's the
plane.
same one. Yeah.
They're on the plane. They fall asleep, and they travel through a dimension.
Well, they don't. No, it's not a dimension. Basically, what it is they are basically behind in time slightly.
Yeah.
They're displaced, and so what the Langoliers is they're basically just a bunch of creatures that eat the past.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I've loved that one.
Yeah. So that movie because the CGI is awful.
Yes,
now,
it is. But the movie itself.
The concept, though, I never thought of that before, and I thought it's really
the
neat.
best part about that movie is I don't know the actor's name, but the guy who's obviously trying to go for an Oscar by just overacting the fuck out of it.
Mm-hmm. But
yeah, the blind girl and all that gets shot.
Yeah, I like that. I saw it when I was a kid, or when I was younger.
Yeah.
And then 1408. What 1408 is basically John Cusack is basically a paranormal investigator. Mm-hmm. Not really. He writes about haunted hotels and shit. Mm-hmm. And you can tell he doesn't really believe any of this nonsense. He just writes the books and he gets the money. and so he decides to go to this one hotel in New York, and I forgot the name of the hotel. And there's supposed to be a haunted room in it. It's 1408, and he wants to stay in 1408. And basically, he gets there, and they're like, "Well, we actually upgraded you to a better room upstairs, you know, like a master bedroom or whatever." And he's like, "Well, no, I want to stay in 1408." And he's like, "Sorry, it's the room is closed. You can't stay or whatever." And he's like, "No, I see what you're doing. You're trying to scare me. No, I want to be in 1408." And so he has to meet with the manager of the hotel, who is Samuel L. Jackson. And basically, Samuel L. Jackson is just like, "You're not allowed to go in the room. I won't let you go in the room." And Jack's like, "Well, why? Because it's an evil fucking room." And it's Samuel L. Jackson, so you believe it. Like it's if it was anybody else, you wouldn't believe it. It's because it's Sam. And he basically goes through that like people die in this room a lot from like suicide.
Yeah. Like
there was a maid who went in the room once to clean the bathroom. The door shut behind her. She was in there for 5 minutes and her eyes were gouged out when she was pulled out. And they had to change it, like all the bedding and stuff in it, once a week, and they have to leave the door open. Somebody stays at the door. They go and clean the room and leave.
I'm gonna have to go watch this.
Yeah, and so you can't stay in the room. They don't normally rent the room out. In fact, the whole floor, I believe, they don't rent out. And
that's
so
bad
Sam
business.
is like, yeah. So Sam is just like, "I'm not gonna let you stay in the room."
Yeah.
But legally, I don't think that you can actually deny them that.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, or something like that.
Yeah.
So basically, he's just like, "I'm gonna stay in the room," and so he says, "Okay." I mean, but there's this whole scene where he's bribing, like talking with Sam, and Sam was just like, "What can I do to get you to not stay in that room?" So he goes up, he stays in the room. Basically, Sam doesn't even get off the elevator. He's just like, they get to the floor, the elevator opens, he has to stay in the room, and then he has to stay in the room. And I don't. If you're gonna watch it, then I probably shouldn't spoil it for you.
Yeah.
Just be careful, because from my understanding, there's actually 3 different endings. And I don't know, the ending that I saw I liked, so I think it's the theatrical one.
Okay.
I'm not positive though, but oh wait, I do remember why he was in that movie. Sorry. Anyway, it's a good movie. It's a psychological horror movie.
Yeah.
So there isn't really any gore or anything like that. There's 1 or 2 jump scares, but not a lot.
Okay.
But it's a very good movie. You should check it out. And I think it's one of Stephen King's, like himself, one of his favorite adaptations.
Okay. Just Stephen King is in it because Stephen King plays something in every one of his adaptations. He plays the pharmacist in this movie. And let me tell you, it is the creepiest, most pedophile shit I've ever seen in my life.
The guy in the first movie pissed me off, and the TV adaptation pissed me off, but it wasn't because like anything scary, but if I remember this correctly, I don't know if he did it in the new movie, but one of the kids has asthma, doesn't he?
Yes.
And in the original series, it was basically of the time. He prescribes the kid like it's basically a dummy inhaler that doesn't actually have albuterol in it, because they think that it's asthma's in your head. And as somebody with asthma, I cannot tell you how much that pissed me off. Because even then, because the original takes place in like the 50s in the original.
Original.
In the first part of it. But even then, there was common knowledge around like the medical community that asthma was not just psychosomatic. Like it wasn't just like he was just a jackass.
Yep.
I don't know if that's how he was in this new one. But...
Creep. A big old creep.
Anyway, we apologize for this daily dose of the 40-minute It rant that is now this video is turned into.
That's what the video is. That's it.
It's it.
Stephen King.
But yeah, so Stephen King in it. So thank you so much for what?
I'm
sold, by the way.
Yeah, Cody hasn't said anything. Cody, say something. Do you like King?
Apparently not as much as we do.
That's a thumbnail right there. Stephen King's It.
Okay. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. And go check out Soul and John's dead ass channels. And
Hey.
Like always,
You.
I will see you in the next one. Later.